In today's video, you will learn how to set up Google reCAPTCHA in ProfilePress to protect your website from spam and malicious bot traffic. To begin, we'll go to Google Cloud, links in the description down below. And the first thing we'll need to do here is set up a project. I already have one here. You can create a new one by clicking on New Project, where you'd enter a project name and click on Create. Keep in mind that when you're done creating your project, you'd need to take note of this project ID, so you can copy and paste it somewhere for later. Okay, so since we have a project, we can begin. So I'm going to go ahead and use the search function to find reCAPTCHA. It's reCAPTCHA Enterprise. And here I'm going to click on Go to reCAPTCHA Enterprise. On this page, we're going to scroll down and click on Get Started. And next, we're going to name our key. So I'm going to call it ProfilePress. We'll keep our application type as web. And then we can go ahead and add a domain. We'll add the domain for our website. We'll just paste it here. We'll click on Done and we'll move on to the next part, which is optional. So here, if we click on Next Step, this takes us to additional settings which we can configure. For example, we can turn on challenges. For example, how many traffic lights in the picture or how many cars and so on. You can set your challenge difficulty, so it could be easy, balanced, or hard. There is also an option for policy-based challenges, which is based on a pre-configured score. So you can go ahead and choose which challenge type you'd like, but remember it's optional. Let's go back. We'll scroll down and we're going to go ahead and click on Create Key. And this is what we'll need to focus on. We'll need to copy and paste this key ID somewhere safe until we need it. The next step is to go ahead and search for credentials. We'll use the first result. And it's going to take us to our APIs and services page. So here what we need to do is click on Create Credentials, API Key, and we'll go ahead and name our key. I'm going to call it ProfilePress reCAPTCHA, and then we'll go ahead and configure our API key restrictions. So I'm going to use the filter to find reCAPTCHA Enterprise API. I'll click on OK, and that's all we need to do here for this example. But if you want to, you can go ahead and configure application restrictions. So let's go ahead and click on Create. On the next page, we'll see our API key. We'll go ahead and copy it. We'll close this and we'll keep it somewhere safe. Now, in the meantime, we'll explore the classic reCAPTCHA interface. And of course, you can find the link in the description. We'll start by labeling our site. I'll use the domain name. Next, we'll choose a reCAPTCHA type. And this could be score-based or challenge-based, just as we saw in reCAPTCHA Enterprise. Next, we'll add our domain name. And that's going to be the same thing we used as our label. And just so you know, your label could have been anything else. It's just to identify your configuration. The next option lets you select your project name, but since it's already set to ProfilePress, I'll just keep it. Let's submit this. And the next page will confirm that our registration is complete. So now we can add reCAPTCHA to our ProfilePress forms. In ProfilePress, if we go to add-ons, what we could do here is scroll down to Google reCAPTCHA, activate it. And once it's active, we can scroll back down to its position and click on Settings. Now in Settings, our first option lets us select our API platform. There's reCAPTCHA Enterprise and Classic. So depending on the method that you prefer, you can paste all the credentials that you received into their respective fields. So back in Google Cloud, I'm going to go ahead and retrieve my project ID. I'll just highlight and copy this ID, and I'll go back to Settings in ProfilePress. And I'll paste it in this field. Next, we have the Google Cloud API key. So I'll paste this one. I'll paste the key ID and we'll keep the following options unchanged. But if you want to, you can always go ahead and configure them. Since we're done with this, we can now save our changes. And this is how you configure reCAPTCHA Enterprise. If you were to select reCAPTCHA Classic, the process will be slightly different. You'll need to go ahead and paste your classic reCAPTCHA secret key. On this page, you can also choose your challenge type. Once we're done configuring our classic settings, we can now save our changes. And once they're saved, we can go ahead and add reCAPTCHA to our forms. So in the ProfilePress menu on the left, I'll go to Forms and Profiles. I'll use the login form for our test. So I'm going to click on Edit. Now in the form editor, in standard fields on the right-hand side, I'll drag reCAPTCHA to the forms fields. We can now click on the gear icon to access its settings, and there we'll see options to change our theme as well as the size of our reCAPTCHA field. We'll keep this and apply our changes. We'll save the form, and once it's saved, we'll see if it works. We'll go to our login form in an incognito window. Let me just open this up, and we should see our reCAPTCHA field. We have a checkbox for I'm not a robot. If we check it, we'll see a challenge. And of course, it's up to the user to complete the challenge that they see successfully. Okay, so this is how you set up reCAPTCHA Enterprise for ProfilePress. Thank you for watching and see you next time.